Hi, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you to this episode of Mahabharat. This version of Mahabharat is the translated version of the Ved Vyas Mahabharat by Kisari Mohan Ganguli. This is an honest attempt to share the version with the listeners. Adi Parva Continued. Section 21. Astika Parva Continued. Sati said, Then, when the night had passed away and the sun had risen in the morning, O thou whose wealth is asceticism, the two sisters, Kadru and Vinata, having laid a wager about slavery, went with haste and impatience to view the steed Uchashravas from a near point. On their way, they saw the ocean, that receptacle of waters vast and deep, rolling and tremendously roaring, full of fishes large enough to swallow the whale, and abounding with huge makaras and creatures of various forms by thousands, and rendering inaccessible by the presence of the other terrible, monster shaped, dark, and fierce aquatic animals abounding with tortoise and crocodiles, the mine of all kinds of gems, the home of Varun, the water god, the excellent and beautiful residence of the Nagas, the lord of all rivers, the abode of the subterranean fire, the friend or asylum of the Asuras, the terror of all creatures, the grand reservoir of water, and ever immutable. It is wholly beneficial to the gods and is the great source of nectar, without limits, inconceivable, sacred, and highly wonderful. It is dark, terrible, with the sounds of aquatic creatures, tremendously roaring, and full of deep whirlpools. It is an object of terror to all creatures. Moved by the winds blowing from its shores and heaving high, agitated and disturbed, it seems to dance everywhere, with uplifted hands represented by its surges. Full of swelling billows caused by the waxing and waning of the moon, the parent of the Vasudev's great conch called Panchajanya, the great mine of gems, its waters were formerly distributed in consequence of the agitation caused within them by the Lord Govinda of immeasurable prowess when he had assumed the form of a wild boar for raising the submerged earth its bottom lower than the nether regions, the vow observing regenerate Rishi Atri could not fathom after toiling for 100 years. It became the bed of the lotus navel Vishnu when all the termination of every yuga, the deity of immeasurable power enjoys yoga nidra, the deep sleep under the spell of spiritual meditation. It is the refuge of Menaka, fearful of falling thunder and retreat of the Asuras overcome in fierce encounters. It offers waters as a sacrificial butter to the blazing fire, issuing from the mouth of Varava, the ocean mare. It is fathomless and without limits, vast and immeasurable, and the lord of rivers. And they saw that unto it rushed mighty rivers by thousands, with proud gait, like armor's competitors, each eager for meeting it, forestalling the other. And they saw that it was always full and always dancing in its waves. And they saw that it was deep and abounding with fierce whales and makaras, and it resounding constantly with the terrible sounds of aquatic creatures. And they saw that it was vast and wide as the expanse of the space, unfathomable and limitless, and the grand reservoir of water. And so ends the 21st section in the Astika Parv of the Adi Parv. Section 21 Astik Parv Continued. Sati said, The Nagas, after consultation, arrived at the conclusion that they should do their mother's bidding. For if she failed in obtaining her desire, she might withdraw her affection and burn them all. If, on the other hand, she was graciously inclined, she might free them from her curse. They said, "We will certainly render the horse's tail black." And it is said that they then went and became hairs of the horse's tail. Now the two co-wives had laid the wager. And having laid the wager, O best of Brahmanas, the two sisters, Kadru and Vinata, the daughters of Daksha, proceeded in great delight along the sea to see other side of the ocean. And on their way they saw the ocean, that receptacle of waters, incapable of being easily disturbed, mightily agitated all of a sudden by the wind, and roaring tremendously, abounding with fishes, capable of swallowing the whale and full of makaras, containing also the creatures of diverse forms, counted by thousands, frightful from the presence of horrible monsters, inaccessible, deep, and terrible, the mine of all the kinds of gems, the home of Varuna, the water god, and the wonderful habitations of the Nagas, the lord of rivers, the abode of the subterranean fire, the residence of the Asuras, and of many dreadful creatures, the reservoir of water not subject to decay, aromatic and wonderful, the great source of Amrita of the celestials, immeasurable and inconceivable, containing waters that are holy, filled to the brim by many thousands of great rivers, dancing, as it were, in waves. Such was the ocean, full of rolling waves, vast as the expanse of the sky, deep, of body lightened with the flames of subterranean fire, and roaring, which the sisters quickly passed over. And so ends the 22nd section in the Astik Parv of the Adi Parv. Section 23, Astik Parv Continued. Sati said, having crossed the ocean, Kadru, of swift speed, accompanied by Vinata, soon alighted near the house. They then both beheld that foremost of steeds of great speed, with white body as the rays of the moon, but having black hairs in the tail. And observing many black hairs in the tail, Kadru put Vinata, who was deeply dejected, into slavery. And thus Vinata, having lost the wager, entered into a state of slavery and became exceedingly sorry. In the meantime, when his time came, burst forth from the egg, without the help of his mother, Garuda, of great splendor, enkindling all the points of the universe, that mighty being endued with strength, that bird capable of assuming at will any form, of going at will anywhere, and of calling to his aid at will any measure of energy. Effulgent like a heap of fire, he shone terribly, of lustre equal to that of fire at the end of the Yuga. His eyes were bright like the lightning flash, and as soon after birth that bird grew in size, and increasingly his body ascended the skies. Fierce and vehemently roaring, he looked as terrible as second ocean fire, and all the deities, seeing him, sought the protection of Vibhavasu, Agni, and they bowed down to that deity of manifold forms seated on his seat and spake unto him these words: O Agni, extend not thy body. Wilt thou consume us? Lo, this huge heap of thy flame is spreading wide. And Agni replied, O ye precursors of the Asuras, it is not as ye imagine. This is Garuda of great strength and equal to me in splendor, endued with great energy and born to promote the joy of Vinata. Even the sight of this heap of effulgence hath caused this delusion in you. He is the mighty son of Kashyap, the destroyer of the Nagas, engaged in well being of the gods, and the foe of the Daityas and the Rakshasas. Be not afraid of it in the least. Come with me and see. Thus doth rest the gods from a distance. The gods said, "Thou art a rishi, that is, one cognizant of all mantras, share of the largest portion in the sacrifices, ever resplendent, the controller among Vidal rishis, wended their way towards Garuda and adored him of birds, the presiding spirit of the animate and the inanimate universe. Thou art the destroyer of all, the creator of all. Thou art the very Hiranyagarbha. Thou art the progenitor of creative in the form of Daksha and the other Prajapatis. Thou art Indra, the king of the gods. Thou art Hayagriva, the steed necked incarnation of Vishnu. Thou art the arrow, Vishnu himself, as he became such in the hands of Mahadev at the burning of Tripura. Thou art the Lord of the universe. Thou art the mouth of Vishnu. Thou art the four faced Padmaja. Thou art the Brahman, that is the wise. Thou art Agni, Pavan, etc., that is the presiding deity of every object in the universe. Thou art knowledge. Thou art the illusion to which we all are subject. Thou art the all pervading spirit. Thou art the Lord of the gods. Thou art the great truth. Thou art fearless. Thou art ever unchanged. Thou art Brahma without attributes. Thou art the energy of the sun. Thou art the intellectual functions. Thou art a great protector. Thou art the ocean of holiness. Thou art purity. Thou art bereft of the attributes of darkness. Thou art the possessor of the six high attributes. Thou art he who cannot be withstood in contest. From thee have emanated all things. Thou art of excellent deeds. Thou art all that had not been and all that had been. Thou art pure knowledge, thou displayest to us, as Surya does by his rays, this animate and inanimate universe. Thou darkenest the splendor of Surya at every moment, and thou art the destroyer of all. Thou art all that is perishable and all that is imperishable. Thou, O thou resplendent as Agni, thou burnest all, even as Surya in his anger burneth all creatures. O terrible one, thou resisteth even as a fire that destroys everything at the time of the universal dissolution. O mighty Garuda, who movest in the skies, we seek thy protection. O Lord of birds, thy energy is extraordinary. Thy splendor is that of fire. Thy brightness is like that of the lightning that no darkness can approach. Thou reachest the very clouds and art both the cause and the effect, the dispenser of boons and invincible in prowess. O Lord, this whole universe is rendered hot by thy splendor, bright as the lustre of heated gold. Protect these high souled gods who, overcame by thee and terrified withal, are flying along the heavens in different directions on their celestial cars. O thou best of birds, thou Lord of all, thou art the son of the merciful and high souled Rishi Kashyap. Therefore, be not wroth, but have mercy on the universe. Thou art supreme. O pacify thy anger and preserve us. And thy voice, loud as the roar of the thunder, the 10 points, the skies, the heavens, the earth, and our hearts, O bird, thou art continuously shaking. O diminish this, thy body resembling Agni, at the stake of the splendor resembling that of Yama when in wrath. Our hearts lose all equanimity and quake. O thou Lord of birds, be propitious to us who solicit thy mercy. O illustrious one, bestow on us good fortune and joy. And that bird of fair feathers, thus adorned by the deities and devised sections of rishis, reduced his own energy and splendor. And thus end the 23rd section in the Astik Parv of the Adi Parv. Section 14. Astik Parv Continued. Sauti said, Then, hearing of and beholding his own body, that bird of beautiful feathers diminished its size. And Garuda said, "Let no creature be afraid, as ye are in fright at the sight of my terrible form. I shall diminish my energy." Swati continued, "Then the bird capable of going everywhere at will, that ranger of the skies capable of calling to his aid any measure of energy, bearing Aruna on his back, wending from his father's home, and arrived at his mother's side on the other shore of the great ocean. And he placed Aruna of the great splendor in the eastern regions, just at a time when Surya had resolved to burn the worlds with his fierce rays." Sonika said, "When did the reserved Surya resolve at the time to burn the worlds? What wrong was done to him by the gods that provoked his ire?" Sati said, "O sinless one, when Rahu was drinking nectar among the gods at the time of churning of the ocean, he was pointed out to the gods by Surya and Soma. And from that time he conceived an enmity towards those deities. And upon this, Rahu sought to devour his afflictor. Surya became wroth and thought, "Oh, this enmity of Rahu towards me had sprung from my desire of benefiting the gods, and this dire consequence alone have to sustain. Indeed, at this pass, help I obtain not, and before the very eyes of the denizens of heaven, I am going to be devoured, and they brook it quietly. Therefore, for the destruction of the worlds must I strive?" And with this resolution, he went to the mountains of the west. And from that place, he began to radiate his heat around for the destruction of the world. And then the great rishis, approaching the gods, spake into them, "Lo, in the middle of the night springeth a great heat, striking terror into every heart, and the destructive of the three worlds." Then the gods, accompanied by the rishis, wended to the grandsire and said unto him, "Oh, what is this great heat today that causeth such panic? Surya hath not risen. Still, the destruction of the world is obvious. O Lord, what will happen when he doth rise?" The grandsire replied, "Indeed, Surya is prepared to rise today for the destruction of the world. As soon as he will appear, he will burn everything into a heap of ashes. By me, however, had the remedy been provided beforehand. The intelligent son of Kashyap is known to all by the name of Aruna. He is huge of body and of great splendor. He shall stay in front of Surya, doing the duty of his charioteer, and taking away all the energy of the former. And this will ensure the welfare of the worlds, of the rishis, and of the dwellers in the heavens." Sati continued, "Aruna, at the behest of the grandsire, did all that he was ordered to do, and Surya rose veiled by Aruna's person. I have told thee now why Surya was in wrath, and how Aruna, the brother of Garuda, was appointed as his charioteer. Hear next of that other question asked by thee a little while ago." And so ends the 24th section in the Astik Parv of the Adi Parv. With this, we come to an end to this episode of Mahabharat and its heroes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, this is your host, Madhulika Raj signing off. Stay healthy always. Narayan Narayan.